The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 227. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a phenomenal lady on. She's a film critic and a filmmaker, and I'm just excited to have her on and share her story with us. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to So-Yeon. So-Yeon, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to our listeners.
My name is So. I was born and raised in LA, specifically K-Town of LA. And then I moved to the suburbs of Torrance. I went to college in Cal State Long Beach, majored in film, and here I am. I don't know. I feel like there's so much. I've been writing for my blog, my film website, for about 7 years. It's called So's Real Thoughts. About 3 years ago, I created a YouTube channel so I can kind of reach more people and connect with more audiences who are more like-minded, who really share like the same love of independent cinema, foreign, and genre films. When I'm not doing that, I write for Crome Yellow, a bi-weekly column called Badass Femmes, where I highlight different types of women from media that have, or pop culture that has directly affected my life. And I program for a lot of LA film festivals.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing all that info. And what's your cultural background?
I'm Korean American.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And so what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
There was one by Oprah, which I love Oprah to death. Like, something about her. She's just such an amazing person. She says, "Think like a queen. A queen is not afraid to fail. Failure is another stepping stone to greatness."
Awesome. That's a great quote. And I love that, more and more we're starting to let people know that failure is a part of the journey and it's not a bad thing, especially growing up as an Asian woman. Like, failure is like, taught to us like the end of the world. Like, we can't go back or get up from it, when really it's, it's success and training, right? You're going to have to go through hurdles to get up and become stronger. So love that. And in your own words, how would you define self-confidence?
Self-confidence is knowing your worth and basically living through it, living that mentality every day of your life.
Thanks for sharing that definition. And it's true, right? Not a lot of people are living, their authentic selves or their own truths. People are still hiding behind a mask. They feel like they have to follow what they've been told to do. And, it's so freeing when you can go out there and live your purpose. And what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
I grew up being praised a lot by my dad. So I think it added a lot. He would always be like, "I'm the best, you're like the most beautiful person, blah, blah, blah." And like, there was just a lot of encouragement. Mostly from my dad, because I already knew my mom. Like, my mom and I are so similar that I already know what she's thinking. And so hearing it from my dad, I felt like I already had it in me, but it kind of, he reaffirmed my confidence and who I was. I think it was only just when I went to like middle school or just out in the world where people doubted.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And what was that aha moment in your life when you realized you can go out there and do the things that you love, like filmmaking and being a film critic?
I think once I just realized, well, specifically for being a film critic or a filmmaker, I just didn't see anybody else doing it. And I was like, well, I could kind of like just go for it and then see what happens with it later on. Or I'll just be like waiting forever for something to look up to somebody, or just for somebody to give me permission, which I didn't think, it actually never happens. Like, no one is ever going to give you permission to do anything. And so I think a lot of it is, for me, I wasted a lot of time, well, quote unquote, wasted a lot of time thinking about when the right time is or was, but it'll just never come. You just have to kind of do it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I think that's an important lesson to realize, right? So many of us feel like we need permission, whether it's from our parents or someone who is more of an influence, not realizing that just because nobody's doing it doesn't mean you can't go out there and do it. You can be that trendsetter to just start and just go for it, see what happens. And you never know like what, opportunities would come to you. And, because of that realization, what's your life been like now?
It's better knowing that there's not like an invisible hero that's like magically going to help you. But at the same time, it's like the struggle is still the same because you have to do everything yourself and you have to rely on yourself so much to basically get yourself from point A to point B. I mean, of course, people will help you, but it really is up to you to do everything.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I like that you mentioned, there's no invisible hero that's going to save you, which is true. I mean, there are people, like you said, that's going to help you, but in the end, it's up to you. It's your responsibility to go out there and do it. So thanks for sharing that. And, to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey of self-confidence. What'd be that one tip you would give to her?
I think self-confidence, like you can't look at other people and say, oh, magically, like, oh, I want that, I'm going to get that. It really starts with yourself and knowing being okay with who you are and what the type of person you are, no matter how different it is from like society, and kind of accepting that, and that accepting, embracing, and kind of owning up to it. I know that I lived through a lot of my life where I'm like, oh my God, I'm so crazy. Like people are calling me crazy and like maybe I really am crazy. And I think that's such a dismissible term that it doesn't apply to like anybody anymore because everybody's a little bit crazy. But I think once you realize there are certain parts of you that are different and might seem like shameful in some sense, I think it's okay to know that you're not alone and like you're completely sane, and no matter what, there's no one like you. And so just own up to who you are and be that person like 1,000%.
Awesome. Those are great tips. And I love that you mentioned, sometimes, you mentioned that, you can't compare yourself to anyone, which is true. Not a lot of people realize like, this is a journey that you'll always be going to and, be working on yourself every single day. And, it starts with a belief in yourself, taking action, surrounding yourselves with, like-minded people. And you're right. We're never alone. Sometimes we may feel like we are, and, crazy can be a good thing, right? They say Steve Jobs was crazy and look what he's created. So, it could be a good thing. I mean, I've been called crazy so many times. I take it as a compliment.
Yeah.
So, if our listeners wanted to connect with you and get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
I'm very connected to everything. And so I have every like social media possible besides Snapchat. That one's like, I'll wait for that. But Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, Instagram, you can connect with me there at So's Real Thoughts. And I have my YouTube channel, and so you can go watch my stuff, comment, and we can like start I really love starting like film discussions with my viewers. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with So, you can also head on over to thetaoofselfconfidence.com and search for So's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I just really want to thank So for taking the time to share her story with us on self-confidence. So thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me.
It was an honor having you on the show. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com to check out cool resources, blog articles, show recaps, and so much more. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.